WordPress is a content management system that has become extremely popular over the last 15 or so years. It's important that you, as a person running an agency, understand exactly what WordPress is and what content management systems, or CMS systems for short, are and how they operate. In this video, I'm going to cover just that, so stay tuned. To understand why CMS technology is so important today, it's important to take a step back to a time before we had content management systems. Before content management systems, most websites were just HTML. Basically, they were a file, an HTML file, sitting on a web server somewhere, usually a whole bunch of files, each one corresponding with a different web page on that site. And there were a bunch of graphics in there and maybe files and whatnot that would load up when you loaded up the website. So if you went to a website, it was literally the web server was just fetching the index.html and loading that up and showing you the homepage. That's how websites used to work. Content management systems changed this because websites went from being the static, individual page to being systems that were capable of responding to user activity. They were essentially programs that loaded up and functioned on remote servers and engaged back and forth with the user. They were also powered by databases so that websites could do things like have user registration systems, blogging systems. They could have forums. They could do all kinds of things they could not previously do because previously they weren't connected to databases and they didn't have a lot of the functionality that CMS technology afforded them. Now, CMS technology is a big leg up. And to understand CMS technology, you need to think of it in terms of being a stack, or a bunch of layers of technology. It starts with the web server here at the bottom. And it says physical server computer. Right over here on screen, you can see that at the bottom. That physical server represents the actual computer that's sitting in a facility in some remote location. That physical location houses usually tons of different servers, and usually the instance of the CMS is on a server with a ton of other websites right next door sitting in that location. But in any event, there's the physical location where you have the web server. Now, atop that, you have the operating system installed. Usually it's Linux, but it could be FreeBSD. It could even be Windows. Now, after that, you have various things installed on the operating system or onto that computer. You have MYSQL, which is the database system. You have the web server software, which is typically Apache web server. And then you have PHP, which is a dependency. It's a language for scripting that powers almost all CMS systems. Though there are many that do not use it, PHP is certainly the language used by WordPress and Drupal and Joomla and other very popular CMS systems. And then, of course, on top of that, you have WordPress itself. All right, but it just as easily could be Drupal or another CMS system there as well. So you have this stack of technologies that work together. And then on top of that, you have the front end of the website, which is actually a different technology, right? Because you install WordPress and then you have to install or build a theme, to give your website its look and feel. That's stuff like XHTML, CSS, and so on and so forth. Usually some JavaScript in there and whatnot. That's the stack of technologies that comprises a website. Now, usually this is referred to as a LAMP, Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP, LAMP environment. A lot of tech people, you'll see jobs posted, you'll see people reference, does this person know LAMP environment, etc. That's what they're referring to. They're referring to a server that has Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP on it so that it can serve websites, usually WordPress. Now, there's a lot of reasons for the rise of popularity of WordPress. The primary reason that it's really risen in popularity over the past, say, 10, 15 years has been because of what came before it. It's not that WordPress is itself incredibly revolutionary. It's that it was first to the game, Prior to WordPress, right, you had custom CMS solutions, usually proprietary, and they were developed by individual design houses. When WordPress came along, it was open source and it was community maintained. It still is today. And tons of different companies released themes for it, released plugins to it, and adopted it as a standard. Today, WordPress is roughly 14 to 15% of all websites on the internet. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but when you consider that the other, 85%, it's split across literally thousands and thousands of platforms. WordPress is by far the single most popular system out there. This does not make WordPress, astounding. WordPress started its life as a blogging platform, and those roots are still visible when you take a look at WordPress's backend. Anybody who's gone in there and worked with WordPress will tell you that the stock WordPress interface is pretty user-friendly. It's really designed around being used by sysadmins and people that know what they're doing. It's important also to understand that with WordPress or with any content management system, when it comes to things like security, patches, updates, plugins, etc., you're on your own. When you install a WordPress instance, somebody has to maintain that site. As security vulnerabilities are discovered, patches have to be applied, security updates, all those types of things need to be rolled out. And they're not just rolled out for WordPress, they're rolled out for all the plugins that plug into it as well. Without a central authority behind it, it is not a system that lends itself to extreme user friendliness when it comes to individuals maintaining their own sites. CMS systems are definitely big. They're here to stay. There are many different systems you can check out: Drupal, Joomla, Django, lots of different CMSs that are out there built on different technologies. I implore all of you to educate yourselves as much as possible because you may encounter these systems when you're out there selling. And it's important that you always keep yourself abreast of the latest trends in technology. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel, leave a comment below, and smash that like button. Thank you.